I have a screen recorder thing on my computer. I didn't get dressed yet for the day because I went straight to my computer and my iced coffee. Kids are out of the house. Wife went to do so it's like, I got a little domain here for a moment. Anyway, I wanted to just I pulled all the data from February of 2026 right here. That's what you can see. And the reason I wait a few days is just because agents are lazy, or like when I say lazy, we're out showing houses. We don't sit behind computers. We sit behind computers Tuesday mornings like this. But on weekends, I am filming, I'm getting photography, I am posting, I'm holding open houses, I'm showing buyers properties after open houses, I'm setting up real estate signs, I'm chatting with people at the gym trying to get them to come to my open houses. Like, I don't have time to do this. So I waited, and then a full day of Monday, we all definitely need to have all of our sales processed and uploaded into the MLS. Definitely by Monday. It's now March 3rd, Tuesday. I feel it's I feel it's a safe time to pull the data where we're not going to be missing. And the reason that's so important is because when we are working with small sample sizes, like close to 100, one or two sales skews this. I need the full data photo. And that's also why I never recommend using Trulia, Zillow. As you guys know, not a lot of listings, at least not all the listings are shared on Zillow. Redfin's getting smarter. They've made a deal with Compass, and now Zillow is going to have roughly, in my guess, would be 20% less listings in the next 5 years because they chose to fight instead of collaborate. And that's been my motto, and that was Compass's motto basically since I joined. It's collaboration over competition. I'm like, you know what? When everyone's such I was like, we don't need to be cutthroat. Huntington Beach, the one thing that always has resonated with me, and I take the old team that I used to work for, our manager would always say this, and it was like a really smart thing to hold on to and to tell your agents that are working on a team. There's 70,000 homes in Huntington Beach. If you guys are fighting over one, you shitty agents, and you need to be going and getting more leads than you guys both stressing out to make your mortgage payments over the one guy who is also that type of client working with multiple realtors. Not the best kind of client. Stop complaining, go out and work, and shut the fuck up. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's exactly what should happen. But they don't. People get really egotistical and entitled, and then they go and they fight, and then there's like weirdness on the team, and then like, ugh, it's just not fun. Anyway, back to the market update. All the numbers are in. Weird I've ever seen happen. Let me see if I can zoom in a little on this. More homes sold in January this year than in February. And so if we go, same thing last year. I wonder why that happens. I know why. It's because people get desperate. And that's what leads to this little weird thing that happened here towards the end of the year. So I'm trying to color coordinate this in a fashion that makes sense and then also is really neat as a palette. So I have my little Rastafarian palette. Now all the listings come to the market and they're yellow because we don't know if they're going to sell when they turn green or if they're going to cancel and turn red. And then black, not even really related to the colors over here, well, that's our sale price. So it's different. So we see our sale price is going up and down pretty consistently, a little lower at the front. Sorry, I'm analyzing the, just like a market update of those who I typically talk shit on for speaking the way I'm speaking now. My bad. Yeah, it hasn't really done much. Overall, over the last 2 years, it looks like pricing has slightly risen, but 1.2 in January, barely over 1.2 in January 2024. We're in the same market we have been in for the last 2 years. Okay, so if you see someone that put their house on the market and they're like, oh, well, we bought it 2 years ago and now we're asking 2.39 loss sale. Why? Show me how that's substantiated. Did you put in $300,000 worth of work? You didn't? Oh, okay. So you're just hoping someone gives you extra $400,000. Well, that's a fucking horrible strategy to get an extra $400,000. What I would do is I would build some value into the home. I'd remodel, do some light work, landscaping, change the aesthetic as dramatically as possible with the least amount of money, and then at least you can maybe sell the vibe. But you're going to see a lot of like weird fucking shit right now. And the weird shit you see, the worse the agent is on that listing that's allowing that weird shit to happen. Because as an agent, you should prevent all weird shit from happening. And so if you don't do that, you have a desperate agent that's afraid of telling the truth and afraid of telling their seller what they need to hear to prevent them from effing up their sale. Because now what happens? Now you go on the market, $400,000 too high, and you're sitting there for several weeks, and then like people write you off. And now you're almost guaranteed going to take a less price than had you priced appropriately. Now the problem is we've never been able to prove that because we don't have time machines. But I run enough data to basically prove it, all without saying like, hey, let's go back in time and run this exact same scenario. But what we can do is we can find similar scenarios and then see how those two trajectories went based on how the list price got set initially. And then we can see this in same markets and same neighborhoods. And I've proven that circumstantially time and time and time and time again. And so if you're still out there and you're not listening to me at this point, I can't help you anymore. You need Jesus. I've done my part. Sorry, this camera's dirty. And so what do? I don't know. I think what we do is we continue to monitor what's going to happen. I think the stock market's freaking people out a little bit. And then just overall, again, 93 sales. It felt scarier than that. Last year, 2025 was worse. And then if I go back even to January was worse than 24 2 years ago. February was slightly better. Like, again, the market's not changing. And then if you go back even to 2023, which actually pricing was a tiny bit higher on average towards the end of that year, it makes sense. There's lower inventory. We had 71 closed sales, so supply and demand. They do this. Makes sense. Throw in interest rates and affordability and buyer psychology, and you pretty much can paint a full picture every single time with a market snapshot. Why people don't do this more consistently, to read like 1 to 2, even possibly 3 months into the future to make good purchasing decisions, I have no idea. But if you want to do that, you can call me and I'll help you. Or you can go waste next to $20,000 because you used somebody else because they were your friend. And you want to hurt their feelings by calling me. Whatever. If they are worth $20,000 to you, make your own decisions. You're an adult. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I pay more for things just because it feels better. And that's okay too, because we're all human. But if your friend's like just like an acquaintance, or like they did something that really pissed you off 7 years ago and you still think about it, don't call them, call me. Okay. Glad we got that out of the way. So I'm going to just leave this here. That's that.